Hello, all you channel mammals. Welcome back to Yankee. I just wanted to tell you something that maybe for the first time I'm going to actually have an instructional video that will be of use to you. That is that many of us in this world live in a sort of shotgun house. I don't know if you've ever heard of that term, but in the Midwest, down on the Ohio River, in that sultry old Ohio River Valley, there's a little town called Madison, Indiana, where I spent many of my most important years of my life when I was in 4-H and I raised pigs and goats and chickens and learned how to sew and cook and, oh my goodness, I did everything in 4-H. But that's way off the subject. The main thing is that they have something there called shotgun houses. They would put them close to each other with a passageway between them. Now they're all quite posh. You can imagine people are just loving them. But they're just, the width of the house is the width of every room. So you just go bloop, 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 all the way through the house, room by room, walking right through the middle of the house. and when you think of it, a ship is a shotgun, right? It's a straight through. And I mean, it's even, it's just a passageway through the middle because they're always long and narrow for working in the sea. So, and then when you think of it, houses in cities like New York City, many of the apartments are like that as well. So, how do you deal with that kind of space to give a sense of sprawling mystery and intrigue and separations, even for quietude and peace and some kind of definition of space? So we've unconsciously, but now I'm trying to be conscious in how to share it with you, have just naturally fiddled and figured until we've found ways to express more breadth to our experience. Here's one of the things, having poles that you can swing around. That always helps to disorient one. And also having to duck under a curtain gives you a little bit of a twist. And then when you come in to the salon of Yankee, you have more poles that you can swing around. But if you take a look here, you'll see that we've kind of created a room with a hallway in it. So this is basically the passageway on the other sides of these big poles. And in here, the way we did it was make furniture come out from the walls with other furniture behind it. Layers and layers, so that it looks like infinite space of activity just sprinkled out throughout. And then we took the couch here and put it at a diagonal, which pulls the room around into a sort of conversation, if you will. And then when you're in this space and you look through here, it looks like this room is including that space as well, even though that's the pass-through. And then when you need it to be a pass-through, you see this as a room that you would enter and join in the conversation. And you come over here to where the little pump organ is. When we turned this bookcase, this is a bookcase, we turned this perpendicular to the wall. And when we saw it, the back side of it, is, of course, is a lower grade of wood than the front. So, and plus it was all this brown wood. And the organ has this pretty little detail that we couldn't see because it was just wood with wood, and it wasn't even very nice wood. So we said, hey, let's paint it. So our granddaughter, Witika, who's here for the summer, and I said, let's do it. And we did it. Now here it is, finished. And this navy gray, they used to call it, is the color that Yankee was painted in both World Wars. So that's what I used to paint the back of the bookcase. Oh, and this grill work. I wanted to show you something. Just a moment. See this beautiful skirt? It's my favorite skirt. It's a beautiful Issey Miyake skirt. Well, I loved what was in here when we got this little organ was this pasty orangey red, just the ugliest ecclesiastical red. And so when we started refinishing this little organ, I thought, I've got to get rid of that red. And I thought of this green. I love the kind of foresty, like black forest attitude of all this carving and this beautiful rich wood. And I decided that I had to, you know, give up some of my skirt. So I cut it. It was this long, and I cut it and used all of the whole bottom of the skirt for the behind the grill here. So it's gone to a great purpose. So now let's carry right on around the corner. Here we come around the corner, and here's the library of Yankee right here. And it makes this special little space here. You see? It's all complete with the desk and the work chair and all the books you could ever wish. So now we're gonna go down a little passageway, another narrow space here, and I'll show you what we did in the Boat Boy Girl cabin to expand and change the shape of the space, the long narrow space. Okay, here we go. Another passageway now into the control room, which leads to the Boat Boy Girl cabin. Watch your step here over the bulkhead, and voila, into the light. Over this bulkhead. Now, here's an example of how we turned this long, narrow space into a much broader space by turning this little dresser on end. So it's now perpendicular to the outer wall of the ship, and this little desk here is back to back with it. So we've not only broadened our visual space, but we've also broadened the activity of space. So now this is a little area where a Boat Boy Girl can sit at the desk and work, even whilst her shipmates are sleeping around her. By making the bunk beds go the width of the space, it sort of spreads the space out more. And we built these cupboards in front of this space, which gives a little bit of a surprise and a peek and a little privacy. You see, remember, 4 girls could be in here. So there's this one bunk, and they all have a little fan. There's a ladderway going up to the top bunk, and down here is the lower bunk with its little fan and 2 little pillows in there. So it's very cozy. In the wintertime, this is the bunk that everybody wants because it's so cozy. And then you see each girl has their own rack of towels. You see? And then there are 4 stainless steel boxes that we made up on the top that they can stow their individual things, and then all these little baskets here where they can also keep things. And this is interesting. This is the way we open up the windows, the portals. This is just a nut that I put on here. So you see, if you do this, you can take this out and this out, and that hook holds it in place, and you can shut the window, the portal. Very heavy. It's bronze. It almost takes me out the window to shut it or open it. It's bronze and inch-thick glass. So it's very heavy, and this seems to work perfectly. It's amazing because there's no knot here. It's just that the rope itself, it just spreads out and holds this in place. It's such a great invention. It's just so much fun to think how we're never limited. We can always expand the breadth of our space just by opening up our eyes and letting ourselves grasp everything and just push the walls right out. Anyone who lives in a trailer, I'm sure, has learned these same tricks. Hi, here we are. Now you can see the rest of the ship. Oh, wait. Come with me. Don't be worried. You're going to see all the way to the stern of the ship. Well, it's great anyway. Ahoy. See you next time, okay? That was fun.